You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan England, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit hiring system, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. It's Ryan England again, host of Titan of the Trades, and I am really honored to have today's guest. He's the CEO of the third largest in his industry. And this is a guy that came from humble beginnings, started with one shop 25 years ago, and is over 650 shops, over 10,000 employees. And the focus here is really being the employer of choice. How do we attract people into the trades when we are struggling as an industry to do that? So I just want to jump in. I want him to share his story, some of the things that they're up to, and some of the tips that he has learned, some of the things he learned along the way that you could actually apply to your business to help you become the employer of choice. I want to welcome the founder and CEO of Crash Champions, Matt Ebert. Matt, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
So you're out traveling right now, making big things happen. I love it that you still made time for us over here at Titans of the Trades. You and I met, your people reached out to me and said, hey, I think Matt would be a great guest for the show. I absolutely agree. I'm super excited to have you here. There was something they shared with me real early on that I want our listeners to know that is where I really want to take the conversation today. And it's about this idea of you growing an incredibly large enterprise as the employer of choice. And that idea of being the employer of choice means when presented with multiple opportunities, they choose you instead of someone else. And you do that through some innovative programs. And I want to dig into some of the things that you're doing over there at Crash Champions and share with our listeners some of the ways that they can start presenting themselves as the employer of choice, some things they can do. So can you give me 60 seconds? Just tell us your story real quick, and then let's jump into some of these innovative things that you're up to.
Sure. 60-second story. Collision repair for me has really been my whole life's work. I started when I wrecked my car as a kid, spent a long time as a single shop owner. And really, it's the last 5 years where it really started growing the company to a national scale. And the people part is so important because to me, that's what really differentiates us as a company. You're only as good as your people that are talking to and helping your customers, and you're only as good as your management team as far as treating your own people well. And so the people component is really super key to our success, and it's something that we've concentrated a lot on. So I'm excited to talk about it today, and hopefully a few of the ideas can translate into other blue collar businesses.
I love it. So 25 years ago, you started all by yourself. Mm-hmm. And were an owner operator for a while, and then you slowly expanded, and then you got lucky, right? And all of a sudden you blew up. And then, no, I'm kidding. You didn't get lucky. You made some good strategic decisions. So tell me a little bit, how large is the company today? And, what's the next step for you guys?
Yeah, so today we're just shy of 650 locations across 37 states. And, we're really the third largest at a national size in our space. And so next is to become a clear number two and then someday grab the number one spot. But the growth, has been, just to give perspective, I was 8 locations in July of 2019. So to go from 8 to just short of 650 today, it's been a pretty quick ride.
Wow, that's impressive. And I'm sure that not only are you leveling up the quality of programs and what you can offer your team, but as a leader, you're probably always learning, always developing new skills, learning how to lead this large of an organization. I know a lot of owner operators that I talk to that have this vision of growing large and maybe someday exiting and being able to have a business that they're really proud of. Sometimes they get to a point where they don't believe it can be done. And I want you to I had you on the show just to let people know it can be done. And it's not just luck, hard work, grit, and putting in some really amazing processes. So let's talk about that for a second.
Sure, sure. You know, one thing that you said that is super true is I don't ever want to be like the bottleneck or the ceiling for the company. So it is constant learning. It is constant reading and getting new ideas. But also too, you know, the great thing about being the founder or an entrepreneur, I'm not auditioning for my next job. You know, this is it. So I'm not really uh, I'm just worried about the company doing well. So that's always led me to not be afraid to bring in people smarter than me, people who have been there, done that. Surrounding myself with a team that's done bigger things than me has been super helpful along the way as well.
Yeah. So so let's talk about this. So you've grown from one location, 8 locations to 650 locations. And the number one issue that I think is plaguing the blue collar space is lack of people coming into the industry. People don't want to work with their hands anymore. They want to sit in front of a computer. And it's one of those beliefs that a lot of owners have is that there's just a lack of people out there. And I don't know that I fully subscribe to that. And clearly, I think you're finding people well. What are you doing over there at Crash Champions that's making you the employer of choice? It's getting people to raise their hand and say, I want to be on your team.
Yeah, so our first concentration is our leadership. I would say not just that, but investing in our people from top to bottom. But we've concentrated on the leadership because ultimately we all know that people's happiness at work depends greatly upon who they report to. So their immediate boss is really important in their employee experience. And so they might not even, we're at a size now where they might not even ever get to meet me. So whether they like or hate Crash Champions has a lot to do with their immediate boss. So we really keyed in on that part of it, knowing that the employee experience comes greatly from the person they report to. So it's that management piece that we've really keyed in on more than anything.
And I've seen some stuff on your website. I've seen some videos of GM standing up on stage saying, hey, they took a chance on me, they invested in me, and now here I am leading these amazing people. Like, it's really cool to just hear what you're doing, like the outcomes of what you're doing, and just to hear it from people. I also know that you're big on veteran recruitment, women recruitment, like just making sure that these opportunities are open to everybody. Is that correct?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, you mentioned a few things there, so maybe if I can take one of them at a time.
Yeah.
Sticking with the leadership piece. So culture is very important when it's a people business, right? And our industry happens to be very, very tribal. Um, and so solving that culture piece for us, you know, we start right from onboarding people. We've built our own training around culture, get people out of the business up to Montana for a week. We did this in collaboration with it's a group of guys. It's an ex-Navy SEAL, an ex-type Top Gun pilot and instructor, Blue Angel, and then there's a psychologist that we call Doc in the group. But really, we get the team there to experience some things, get out on a gun range, etc. But few lessons that we teach in really getting the why behind the company and what we stand for and what we're all about, along with the team building. So that's been key to the culture component. Some things you mentioned, you know, that I think a huge avenue for us in the future is to continue to build our amount of women in our workforce. For a long time, the industry, we would love to have them, but it doesn't mean they want us, right? So we haven't exactly been attractive as kind of a career option for women in the past, but um, it's getting much more sophisticated, much more appealing. And we have a group, for example, called Women from Crash that the women themselves lead. So sometimes I just got to get out of the way. They have some great ideas. They get and meet together and talk about how they can help each other advance, how they can attract other women to the industry. So there's a group that wasn't my idea. It was the women on the team's idea to put it together. And the best thing I can do is just give them the support they need, and the avenue to succeed with it and get out of their way. So some of it, your team can come up with some great ideas. Just let them run with it.
I think that's a valid point, and something that I want our listeners to hear is that you don't have to be the one with all the answers. You don't have to be the one with all the ideas. If you can sometimes get out of the way of the team and let them know that you embrace their ideas and that you welcome their ideas, they'll surprise you. A lot of times they'll surprise you. So, and I love that you've embraced that and said, hey, we do need to bring more women. And you made a very valid point. I have a lot of guests on the show that say, how do we get more women in the trades? And it's not a matter of just getting in front of more women because they don't want to be here. We have to become more attractive so that the women go, I want that job. I want that opportunity. And so we're almost having the wrong conversation, right? Just because we want them doesn't mean they want us.
Yeah.
And I love the way you put that. That's fantastic. So what are some other things you're doing to really bring new people into the industry? Because I'm sure that's an initiative of yours as well, is bringing in brand new people who said, hey, I want to work with my hands. I love the auto industry. I want to be a part of this. What are you doing to bring them into the fold?
Yeah, so we're teaming up with trade schools. We're out preaching the message to high schools across the country. You know, for a long time, the college path and white collar careers have been probably, for lack of a better way of saying it, prioritized over what I feel is a huge missed opportunity in blue collar work today. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of the trades are the same where, in our industry, supply and demand has kicked in. And so the amount that people are paid is significantly better than it was maybe 10 years ago or so. And it's really a great living that you don't have to go into debt to learn it. We have apprentice programs in-house. And so we're doing some radio interviews. We're getting in front of as many people as we can to really speak to the opportunity that there is, because I don't think that it's that people necessarily would hate it if they tried it. They just don't even know that it's out there and it's a good career path. So it's up to us to get that message out there. That's how we view it.
I could not agree with you more on that. I do think that there has been this belief that if we build it, they will come, right? It's like that belief of, well, the trades are here, the jobs are here. But I think a lot of people, they don't look for them. And so we have to be a lot more pervasive in the marketplace and everything else. One of the questions I have for you is regarding what our listeners are going through. Some of our listeners are going through. Maybe they've got one shop, maybe they've got two, maybe they're getting ready to launch into a new location and they're scared because what if I can't find a leader? What if I can't find the people? How do I do that? Can you share with maybe one or two ideas, something practical that they could go out and do that would help them find this next, maybe it's a general manager or maybe some way of attracting new people to their industry so that they can go out and start achieving some of the success that you've seen?
Sure, I could try it. I don't have a magic pill for any of this, but
No, none of us do.
right. Ultimately, it's we're very big on promoting from within, so we're constantly training our replacement. So there's that component. There's sometimes too you have to take that leap and trust people that they're going to do the best they can and do well. You know, a long time ago, I got over the fact of they're not going to ever do it exactly like I would do it. Sometimes they'll do it better, but I just have to trust that other people can also do a great job, and it won't look exactly like it would if I did it, but it'd be 90% of the way there most of the time, and sometimes you get lucky and they even do it better. So you have to be willing to trust people and give them that ability to prove it. So we're very operationally centric, we call it, where we put some guardrails in for people to operate, but we trust that they're the experts at what they're doing. Let them make decisions within the boundaries and try not to overcomplicate the business for them. We try to make it we feel that our job is to support them, make it as easy as possible to work for us and allow them to um, run their shop, and they do a great job at it.
I love it. So many good words of wisdom there. I wrote down two things, and I think this is something that all of us struggle with. All of us, myself included, is training someone to replace you, like training someone to, teaching them how to do some of what you do, so you can go focus on being more of the owner and being more and running more of the working on the business, not in the business, right? Like teaching them how to do some of this stuff so that you can almost clone yourself is one of the things I heard. And then also, when you do that and you let people go out into the field, trust them. Trust the people, because I know that trust is one of the things that's tough, because for a lot of small business owners, especially, this is our baby, right? I don't want to trust someone else with my baby. And that can be a real challenge. But I think that people will often exceed your expectations way more than they'll not meet them, is what my experience has been. And that's what I heard from that.
Yeah, that's for sure. You can't expand anyway without it, because there's only so many hours a day. We all only have so much capacity. So you got to count on other people. And then, from a recruiting standpoint on this subject, Ryan, what's been really successful for us is finding that number two at another company that might feel like they're being overlooked. Oftentimes, they might even be the one making their boss look good, and there's not really a path for promotion where they're at. Maybe the company's not growing. And so in recruiting, sometimes it's the one where you're offering them an advancement that makes you more attractive than their current job, even if they really like it and have been there a while. If they feel stuck, if you're offering them a path forward, that's been a real key to success in recruiting some really hungry and talented people.
Yeah, and that is two other things that I wrote down, is really being able to put a program together. It's interesting. One of the themes lately has just been apprentice programs, and just making sure that you are providing these opportunities for people to learn the skills, learn the trade, learn the craft, and then giving them the opportunity to set their own career path, which is the second thing you brought up, which is finding people who maybe are stuck, maybe they're not able to go to that next step, and saying, hey, if you come over here, I can get you to that next step. I can show you how to get to that next step. And so not only having the plan for training them, but also giving them the opportunity to set their own path and achieve their own goals. And we've seen that as a common theme around some very successful organizations lately. And obviously Crash Champions is no exception to that. Matt, for our listeners right now that want to learn more about you, maybe they want to connect with you online or just see what you guys are up to, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I'm on all the social media platforms, and Matt Ebert CC is the handle. So can find me on LinkedIn or Instagram, X, or TikTok as well. So
awesome.
And any of those ways is a great way to reach out.
You know what, Matt? Thank you so much for being here. I love sharing these types of stories where you were really able to make a huge difference. And I mean, how many employees do you have right now?
Just over 10,000 today.
Over 10,000 people are benefiting from working for you as the employer of choice and have these opportunities for career path and training and everything else. I mean, the lives and the families you're impacting is so amazing. Thank you, Matt, for being on the show today. I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. Thank you.
Ryan England here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.